to go play Magic Island, and that poor child has to look at their grandparent, say thank you for this pile of dog crap that Wizards of the Coast is putting out. This is all staying in the podcast. Whoa, welcome everybody to May the Zoo be with you. I am, of course, joined by Josh, and George is going to do the intro. George, take it away. Good job, buddy. Good job.
George, that's the best you've ever sounded on the podcast. That's the most accurate thing you've ever said.
That's the best. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to May the Zoo be with you. My name is Louie. I'm joined by Josh from Hometown TCG, and George is no longer with us. I can't always do that, and everyone's like, did George die?
I listen. The only thing I'm upset with George about is you guys just released me from my contract, and now I got to fill in.
Listen. Everyone last week thought you were actually fired, which was pretty funny because we literally said on the podcast, you're not fired. But that just goes to show.
Hold on. That verbiage is important. You realize you can't fire me, right?
Yeah, we can fire you. But this week, everyone's going to be like, what happened to George? Did he get fired? And the answer is no. But I'm always here. Every week, I am here on the podcast. I am the only one of the two of you who never misses a week.
Wait, you're right. That's why we haven't taken off. I never thought of it that way.
I never miss a week. I never miss a week.
You should
It's almost like it's on my channel. Josh, we have a new thing. We're starting off the podcast. This is breakthrough technology. We're starting off the podcast looking back at last week and pulling out a commenter that gets a thing. But before then, we got to get to our sponsors. We have 2 sponsors now. There's big news for you, buddy.
No, we have 3 sponsors.
No. No. Yeah. I haven't gotten a paycheck. Yeah. We got two sponsors. Number one is GameGrove.gg, where you can go to buy all your Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Lorcana, accessories, video games, merch, sorcery, and One Piece product. Although you can't buy any One Piece product. And you can use the discount code MTZBWY to save 5%. But if you use the code GamerGrove, you save 6% instead. So make sure you go do that.
If anyone uses the May the Zoo be with you code, let me know.
I know it's just a meme now.
Let me know.
It's just a meme. And then we're also sponsored by Cardi.io, Cardi.io/connect. If you are a indie TCG or any other game creator who is looking to have developers behind you creating software for your game, reach out to Cardio. They are an awesome team that works with a lot of the games that we work with, like Sorcery does stuff with them. That's their whole backend system for Sorcery is set up by Cardio. It's really, really awesome. Go chat with Chris, the CEO, and they'll get you all set up. All right, here we go. Our comment.
Well, top sponsor, Hometown TCG.
I'm going
to give just as much as the other sponsors to this podcast.
Are you really? Wow.
Yeah, just as much. I'm going to match.
I give $5,000.
You give nothing.
Yeah, no, I give $5,000.
You give nothing. Then I'll take my third.
I'm 5,000. Well, you're giving me 5,000.
Yeah.
So I'm still up a lot on that.
Checks in the mail.
Oh, great. All right, everyone. Our first comment for this podcast. The only comment, really. Also, I switched to dark mode. For some of you were upset with me last week for being in light mode. We're switched to dark mode. Here's my favorite comment by Nephilim1066, who is a subscriber, by the way, everybody. You can subscribe to this if you want. No, Josh, best episode ever. Well, sorry, Nephilim1066. We're starting off with an episode with Josh.
I'm fine.
George, what do you think about that? Wait, where's my George picture?
Do you have him so you can pull it back up?
Where's my George picture? I don't know what happened to it. Oh, I'm so bad at this. There it is. George, he's got the coffee cup. He's high class. He's got his pinky out. He's sitting on his pedestal judging you right now.
I don't like you.
All right. Sorry, I had to. It was too easy. The fruit was too low hanging. Don't shut off now. It was funny. You were busy last week.
I'm emotionally done.
You were being a good family man last week.
Wait, no, hold on. The top comment when I loaded up the video is no, Josh, not interested in watching. Sorry. What?
There was plenty of pro Josh comments. I just selected the negative one.
All right. What's the topics?
All right, here we go. We're talking about that's the sponsors. We're going to talk about Bloomburrow. That's what I'm calling that. Creed.
That's good. That's a better one.
Creed. We're going to do Arch Enemy, which is coming back, which is kind of cool. We're going to talk about selling a complete set for sorcery. We're going to talk about Star Wars Episode 2, not the terrible Episode 2, but Set 2, which I really don't understand why they're doing these as sets and not calling them episodes. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, true.
We're going to talk about everyone's playing Lorcana at Jeff Bezos' house now. That's where they're going to go to play Lorcana.
Can confirm me and Donald were there.
Even though Sorge is not here, we have two Sorge special swashes today. Well, Josh had one apparently, and I also have one. Neither of us know what each other's Sorges are. Huh?
What if they're the same?
They're definitely not the same.
Okay. All right.
Promise you 1,000,000% yours. I thought of mine today while I was doing something at the shop, and I was like, oh, this is perfect content for the podcast.
Okay. All right.
Now, I want to know what you think, Josh. Tell me all your thoughts on the value booster packs.
Wait, is it the theme booster? Is it the color booster? Is it the value booster?
The value booster.
First of all, break down the value booster is, well, it's supposed to be a cheaper booster pack where you can get some uncommons, some commons, and maybe a rare? Maybe a rare.
Let's just start this up. There's no shot this is under $4, right? This is $3.99 all day, right? That's got to be the price.
Well, that's under $4.
Not after tax.
Like out the door? Sure. Yeah.
There's no shot this is under $4. This is not. There's no shot this is cheaper than a draft pack was, right?
100% works even less than I think it's going to if it's not under $4. Yeah. It's a way worse of a product. So, oh my gosh. This booster, what was your initial reaction when you saw this? Give me your initial
joke.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was a joke.
Okay.
I was just hanging out on one of the Discord servers when somebody posted it, and I thought it was a meme. I thought somebody took like the pictures and just put back, because it's on that what's it called, like green thing. It would be really easy to make a fake of this, right? Like value booster or another booster, but.
So,
I mean, Wizards comes out and says we want to reduce the number of SKUs, and then 2 cents later,
well, did they ever explicitly say, or did we just thank them for doing it, and they were like, "Hold my beer"?
Yeah, maybe. I
got a little rug pulled. I have been advocating for Wizards of the Coast and Magic the Gathering to fill that cheaper void. As Magic gets more expensive, right? That there's a big void in like the amount of money you spend. And I was like, oh, this is it. There we go. And then I read the description of the value booster and I instantly changed my mind. This product is terrible.
I don't know how you can possibly be on the other side of that statement. Like, let's pretend for the sake of this podcast, we want to go back and forth, right? We want to have good content.
Listen, I'll tell you where it's going to shine. So in our view, Magic fans for 20 plus years now, God, we're old. You look it, I am it. This product for us, terrible. Conversely, this product's going to sell in Target. It's going to sell in CVS.
All right, best case scenario, this product. I'm gonna play like I don't hate this product immensely.
Oh, that's what I was gonna do. Good.
I want to be on the record. This is the poopiest of products. This is.
Oh, all right. Hold on. Let's do it. Quick draft. 2 seconds.
Yeah.
You get the old color, but you can get like the color booster. You have the theme booster.
Probably
and you
don't call it the color booster.
They're colors in Magic the Gathering, Louis. Okay. I don't know. I know you don't play the TCGs that we talk about, but in Magic the Gathering, there are parts of the color pie.
They're called theme boosters.
I thought there was 2 separate ones. There was a theme booster and something else, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think so. Just go with the colored booster. We'll let the comments.
Whatever. So the theme booster and the value booster. What are you picking?
Don't forget Epilogue.
Those don't even count. Listen, we're going to talk Assassin's Creed in a minute. We're going to talk Assassin's Creed in a minute.
Hold on. The Epilogue pack is way closer to this than any other booster pack.
The Epilogue pack probably blows this out of the water.
Yeah. Yeah, I would not take this over any of those.
No, you take this over the theme booster. There's a chance to get a special guest in this, which means You get a mana vault, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Listen,
you know.
this is gonna be bad. But let me play the other side. Okay, let me play the other side.
Sure, go ahead.
In Wizards of the Coast, best scenario, what they are hoping for is that some 90-year-old grandma shows up to Target and they get to take her hard-earned Social Security money for her.
Maybe grandma's got a job.
No, grandma's she's 90 years old. She's got a walker.
She just aged 10 years.
No, did I say 80?
Yeah.
She's 90. She's got a walker. She is
with the tennis
shoveling.
With the tennis balls?
Tennis balls, she's shuffling.
Those are not for public.
Shuffling.
Grandma doesn't know what she's doing. She's lost, and someone should help grandma.
She gets to the Target aisle and she says, Hey, Johnny, can you get over here and help me get this pack? I want that value booster pack. That's what I want.
And remember, they're behind lock and key now.
Yeah, behind lock and key. And then she gets that and she gives that to her 16-year-old son, her grandson. No, it's her son now. She gives that to her 16-year-old grandson.
Shout out to Granny.
Great grandson to go, or granddaughter. I don't know. Right? To go play.
Grandperson.
To go play Magic Gathering, and that poor child has to look at their grandparent. I don't care about Granny's. She's gone. She doesn't need the money. She's not going to be around much longer. Okay, she doesn't need it. Okay?
Let me.
But that poor 16-year-old person has to look at their grandma and say thank you for this pile of dog crap that Wizards of the Coast is putting out.
Let me give you a better, more realistic example that might actually happen. That hot take could kill this product, could make it so Bloomburrow's the only set where we ever get it. Mark Rosewater's aunt, as she ages, goes into this, does the same scenario, buys it, brings it to Marky Mark and says, I'm so proud of you for everything you've accomplished. I bought you. And then he has to open one and goes, oh God, this is terrible.
Oh, what did I do?
And maybe kills the product.
That is the best case scenario for somebody. What Magic the Gathering fan, other than the guy who's like, I want to see how bad it is. That's the other.
I'm opening. I think they're coming in boxes. Is that correct? There's going to be a sealed value booster box.
Looking at the photo, it looks like it could. I don't know.
That product. Hold on. Would you rather have the sealed value booster box where you could get a special guest, or the epilogue booster box from Aftermath?
I sold an epilogue box today in my store for $85.
Wait, you sold what?
Yeah, that's what we have for our store. They're still in the same spot that they were in on release week. They haven't moved.
I know.
Somebody looked at our wall full of really great product that has been updated and is up to date prices and whatever. Looked at that wall and said, "Hey, do you have any epilogue boxes?"
Wait, they asked for it? They didn't just see it with their eyes get drawn?
I know you don't believe me, and I know the comment section doesn't believe me, but I am not joking. I said, we've got them. They're right there. And they said, oh, great. And bought one. I was like, okay.
You're lying.
I'm not. They asked how many packs were in. I didn't know if it was 24 or 30. So they looked at it on the bottom.
I'm about to say, did you make them buy it to find out? Is that why?
It's on the bottom
curiosity.
Of the box. It's on the bottom of the box.
Do they know the price on TCG Player? Do they know TCG Player's thing?
I don't know the price on. How bad did I hose them?
I think it's 40. I think it's $40.
40 a piece of it's $537.
And I think there's 8 in there.
eBay is 50. Why doesn't TCG Player just pop up?
I don't know, man. Either way, listen, epilogue boosters, we've discussed DLC when you're releasing a set every single month, when your content is rapidly racing at the consumer, you don't need additional downloadable content.
Collector boxes are $90, $45.
Yeah.
Sorry. To that person, if you watch this podcast, I didn't know.
You don't anymore.
I didn't know. I'm sorry. And you can have $40 in store credit. How about that?
Hold on. Doing one better. A second epilogue box.
No, that's even better. You're right. You can get a second. You can get a second epilogue box.
You know what? That's my sponsorship. I'll supply that one. I'll send you the $40.
Yeah. Anyway, that's crazy.
Jokes aside, I do feel like Magic the Gathering has to fill that void we have climbed so far away from the point of entry for a sealed experience into a release where, we're $150 at your local game store, $175 if you shop at Game Grove because that's how you do business. But you have to have so much money in your pocket to experience this. And I actually gave Wizards credit. They've juiced the bundles recently. They've added more packs to the bundles.
The bundles are great.
They've taken away some of the stuff. They've entered the ETB model. This is like, okay, this is working. We like this. Way too far in the other direction.
Do you know what the worst take of season 2 was?
Did you watch my video today? Because I'm just saying my takes over again.
No, the worst take of season 2 was my take that the One Ring would never be more than a $5 card because it was in a bundle. I said that on this podcast wholeheartedly for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You and I said that there were fetch lands in Modern Horizons 3 serialized, and that wasn't the worst take. The worst take was me saying that the One Ring wouldn't be more than $5 because it was in a bundle, and no bundle card had ever been more than $5.
How quickly did you sell all your One Rings when you were opening your bundles? Like, get these out of here. They're tanking.
Yeah, absolutely. Crazy.
Well, wait till after Pro Tour Nadu Horizons 3, it might find its way into a cheaper price. It's still a great commander card. It's never going to be like cheap.
Yeah.
So,
no. Okay. So let's move away from the value packs.
Why? Hold on. Before we move away, what is the board meeting like when Wizards of the Coast creates a product like this? Or not the board meeting, product meeting. What I know board members don't. What's that meeting like?
So I honestly think that this is what they're going for. About 5 years ago, I don't remember what the names of them are. I was trying to look this up earlier. I forgot. But they had packs very similar. They were Pokemon packs. They were 4-card pack Pokemon packs.
Sure.
At dollar stores everywhere. Dollar Trees, Dollar Generals.
Do you know Dragon Score Z did this as well? Like the crazy old Dragon Ball Z game did this too?
I didn't know
so
that.
Weird.
But listen, I think that there is, if these were $1 packs,
they might be. We don't know.
Maybe $2 packs.
They might be. We don't know.
Centered to dollar stores, Dollar Trees. You've got a cute set. Bloomburrow is a bunch of cute animals. Maybe you get a younger generation in. If I'm walking around with my 5-year-old and I see a Magic the Gathering set, and she's like, "Oh, I want that," I would do it because whatever. But right. Like I don't know. Maybe that's what they were thinking. But my gut says that they're going to price these at $4. Way too expensive for what this.
I think two. I think $250. I'm going.
$250 is not bad for this, honestly. $250 is at $250, dude. These sell really well. I promise you that.
You're setting $2.50 on fire because you're buying bulk,
buddy. People buy $6 set packs all day. That's like the price of a set pack. Yes. $5 to $7.
Yes, because you're guaranteed a certain outcome as far as your rares and mythics are concerned. And the list,
you can get a one rare set pack.
You can, but it's far more common to get a 3 rare play booster right now.
I don't know, man. I think at $250 these sell incredibly well. Now, let me be very clear. They will not be $250. These will be $4 packs.
I think you're gonna be surprised. That's my try to be. You did the other side. You tried to play the other side of the fence. I'll try. If you were to ask me to heart, if you were to come into my house right now and threaten to beat me up unless I gave you a real price, first of all, I'd giggle at you. Second of all, I would not say $250. But for the sake of the podcast, I'm willing to say Wizard surprises us here.
Dude, these will sell like crazy at $250. At $250,
no. So I think that's wrong too.
These will sell like crazy at $250.
Sure, at your Dollar Trees and CVS's, maybe.
At my, dude. So have I told you about the $3 packs?
Oh no,
I haven't told you about my $3 packs.
What are you doing? Are the epilogue boosters?
Huh?
Are the epilogue boosters?
To all of the game store owners out there, here is my sprite of wisdom for you.
It's bad.
One day we were hanging out the store. That was a George. Oh, we gotta put George up. George. One day I was hanging out the shore.
Sorry,
And
sheesh.
I was like, man, nobody ever buys the $4 draft packs. We had a whole bottom of our shelf was $4 draft packs. So it was like all the draft boxes. Nobody had ever bought any of them. Obviously, they sold some of them, but for the most part, everybody chose the $5 set packs over the $4 draft packs. Makes sense.
Makes
So
sense.
in order to get rid of them, I was like, I'm gonna put a little cup, like from the bundles, the little inner thing from the bundles. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do
You
actually.
buy a bundle and it has like the box and then the inner box.
Yeah.
So one of those stupid things holds 10 booster packs, draft booster packs. And I put a little sign on it that says $3 packs. Dude, we sold like a box a day worth of draft packs at $3. Just people adding them onto their drink purchase, people buying a box and be like, oh my gosh, $3 packs. How can I not buy them? I'll buy all 10 of them. Like people for $3 a pack go nuts.
But
so if
there's
they
some
price these at $2.50, these are going to be blowing out the problem is $4. $4 is money. That's actual tangible money. Under $3, it doesn't exist.
Well, $4, you're spending a $5, you're getting nothing back, right?
Yeah.
And that's meaningful. I don't think the hot take here, my hot take here is $2.50 and still doesn't sell.
There's no shot to do it at $2.50. First of all, it's going to be a $4 pack.
Listen, it's not likely, especially if you were to pick a company and you're like, hey, this company is going to print a pack. They're going to call it the value pack, and it's actually going to be cheap. I'd be like, oh, it's not Wizards of the Coast. It's not Watsy. But if they do,
tell me about Bloomburrow though, because I am kind of blown away by how good looking Bloomburrow is. Have you seen this 3-tree city card that has the 4 variants that
Nykthos, but for Table?
Yeah, the tree changes color, the whole card. I think that looks so cool,
dude. Let's give a little credit. The card design and art for some of the sets in the last year has been nuts.
Is this the most beautiful Magic the Gathering set ever so far?
I'm a really big fan of not overdoing it. I like the remastered sets, Ravnica Remastered Time Sword, because of the simplicity, because I'm an old school Magic fan. If you're thinking from a traditional zoomed out art perspective, it's got to be close, right? It's got to be close.
It's gorgeous. Huge kind of reprints in here too. I didn't know Sword of Fire and Ice was in there. That's cool. I just saw that.
Everyone freaking out about Jace the Mind Sculptor just in time for it to be power crept out of any relevancy. Like
it's already power crept out of any relevancy.
That's what I'm saying. We got a reprint of Jace. It hasn't been relevant for 7 years, but we got a reprint of Jace.
From my side of the counter, people are really excited about this. We have the gold wizards in my Discord server that get to pre-order product. Well, they don't technically get to pre-order product at cost, but this set I gave them the opportunity to. We're trying it out. People have been going nuts for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it's one of those Magic sets that captures imaginations. I'll be doing box openings for members, and I only do that when it's because you have so many Magic sets, most people don't want to pick it up all the time. This one seems to have genuine interest, level across the board.
Yeah. I mean, the art looks really good. The decks look a lot of fun. Like the commander decks look like a lot of fun. The mechanics look compared to Murders at Carlisle Manor, the mechanics look basic enough to understand. Like they hit at a intrinsic level for a Magic the Gathering player. You don't have to really evaluate every card to be like, what is this card doing? You kind of get a gist for what it does just looking at it. I think that matters.
So let me push back against that just a little bit. And I think on paper, I think you're right. And that does matter because your initial impression of a set, right? It's like, what do I have to think of all this? I think in practice, just from what we've seen so far, there's a ton of token and counter generation. So different types of counters, different tokens, which does make gameplay harder to track. You have to have a stack of tokens all the time. You're creating tokens and copies and +1/+1 tokens and flying tokens and travel tokens. We saw this with that Coria with Morph, right? It got very difficult to track everything that was going on in that scenario. You could see some of that here. So I'm actually ready for a bit of backlash about the play. Everyone thinks this is going to be so simple. We were promised, and it is, a lot of creature combat stuff.
Yeah.
It's going to get some of these board states, man, they're going to get wild.
I'll disagree with you because I see a lot more Commander playing than you do. Everyone always has board states like that now. Everyone's totally used to it. Like,
if that's the
everyone
case, then
shows up with their
complex
counters.
mechanics,
They show up with their dice, and they're ready to do that.
right? But in that same vein, then your release for Outlaws of Thunder Junction or Karlov Manor, when you have to understand these mechanics, you're not tracking what 4 people are doing with 350,000 cards.
Yeah.
You're tracking 60 cards against one person. It shouldn't have been an issue, yet it still was. And I agree that it was an issue. I don't think that the commander I care about my 400 tokens, here is going to translate to one-on-one when I have to all of a sudden care about all yours in a way that is unlike Commander. In Commander, I played Commander. It's very much like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, okay, we're chatting over here. Like, let me know when you do something meaningful. You're not going to have that here.
Yeah. Anyway, the excitement level for this set seems to be closer to Lost Caverns of Ixalan than any set since Lost Caverns of Ixalan. It like locally, in my opinion.
I think you're right. I think you nailed it.
So we've got our pre-release.
You're looking at here is like you have Karlov Manor that everyone was skeptical about and was terrible, right? And you have Lost Caverns of Ixalan, which people were hyped about and then probably exceeded the hype. Yeah. You got that middle tier, Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Not super excited about, but performed really well.
Yeah.
What I don't want to see from this set is ultimate hype and then something ruins it. I want us to ride this wave. I want us to be excited and just have a fun Magic set like we have in recent history.
So what they've been doing really well, other than Murders at Karlov, is making sets fun to play and having a decent power level. Now, like obviously MH3 power level is pushed because it's Modern Horizons. Yeah, we talked about on the phone that you don't think it's as pushed as MH2 was, but
the data says it's not. That's not me.
Sure. But as long as the mechanics are fun and people are excited, I think this is gonna be a really good set.
I'm hiding the set. I think it's gonna do really well.
Yeah.
I would just be. I'd love to hear back from, since we based all of our topics off of the game store I go to and the 2 game stores on this podcast. It's a very big sample size. It's I would love to see.
Like that's not fair. Like we have a lot of people in the Discord server and it had a lot of online orders. A lot of people actually our 2 purchases last week with the Gamer Grove discount code were both pre-orders for this set. So
yeah, what else are they gonna order? It's not Assassin's Creed.
Modern Horizons 3 collector boxes.
Wait, you're selling yours?
Oh yeah, I got boxes for sale for it. Not all
my boxes. Haven't you read the memo? We are back. Rudy said the phrase "diamond hands" for the first time in 3 years, buddy. Rudy back.
Also said Assassin's Creed was going to the moon. Good transition, Louis. Wait, we'll get to George. George agrees. It was a great transition.
Did you put George back on the screen?
There you go. Oh yeah, he came on earlier too. You were talking about something, so I gave him the George shot. I wasn't paying attention because I gave him the George. I didn't actually do that, but I should have. That would have been
such a jerk.
Somewhere here I have Universes Beyond, Assassin's Creed. The Rudy effect jumped up from $255 a box all the way to $384, only to come back down to $250 a box.
My goodness. Can I tell you? Can I take a victory lap? Can I take a quick victory lap?
Hold on, let me put George up. Yeah, go ahead.
Called this. I got a lot of backlash. When I said there's no chance. I had two different videos. It's a bad set, and B, it's coming back down. Don't buy this for that price. Why do you buy this product? Okay. Unless you're one of the 3 Assassin's Creed fans.
Okay.
Why do you buy this product?
George is up on the screen. Hold on, boo-boo. Hold on. Like, there are people who are excited about Assassin's Creed in the set.
Big Cleopatra historians.
I don't know about that one. That's where I draw the line. Is like, but like I'm wrong. Like, so I pulled up the sold listings for the serialized cards. They're selling 600,000. Leonardo da Vinci 85 of 500 sold for $1,075.
Sure.
Mary Reed and Anne Bonny. I don't know who that is. Sold for $685. Do you know who that is?
Nope.
George.
This is where we need George.
George.
We need George. He would know.
Like, I don't know who that is. Somebody in my comment section yesterday, or on the video last week, I think the podcast was like, Louis doesn't even know how to read. How is he supposed to know who these people are? I was like, that's fair.
I mean, listen, why wasn't that the comment?
Cleopatra, because the one with you, I knew it would take you out of the podcast at the beginning, and it was too easy.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Low-hanging fruit.
It was a good one.
Cleopatra, $1,000. Socrates, I know him. He's a good soccer player, right? He's a soccer player, right?
No, it's Socrates from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Whoa, Socrates!
These are selling for $600 to $1,000. There's a ton of value there.
Yeah, but how many sold listings?
About one a day. Yeah, one a day.
That's not big movement for Magic the Gathering. This isn't an indie TCG.
They're serialized cards. You don't get to be the serialized card guy on the podcast and then also criticize a card selling every day.
You don't get to say that serialized card sales at high value save a set when you have poo-pooed it for a year and a half.
I told you on the phone today.
Well, you didn't tell the viewers. You didn't tell the viewers.
I'm wrong about that. It's saving these sets.
Hold on. And who was right?
You were right. It is saving these sets.
I don't know if the viewers heard you.
You were right about that aspect of serialized cards.
That is a good. It is some value in the box.
But there's also, I mean, like, there's a lot of singles on this side of the game that are selling too for Assassin's Creed.
Let's look at it. Let's look at Universes Beyond historically.
25. Like, compare this to Epilogue. This is a huge success. Compared to Aftermath, this is a huge success.
Yes.
No?
Yeah, you're right. You know that's
the closest thing you can
compare. By the way, when Epilogue, when Aftermath dropped, I compared the sell-through rate of Epilogue sealed products, Aftermath sealed products to indie TCGs, and it was comparable. So I don't know if that's a win. Is that an arena you want to play in? Yeah, you're the biggest fish in that pond. Congratulations.
This is not as bad. This is a successful Magic set. Take out the Rudy part of pumping it, take out the email, and these are sitting at $260 a box. That's, like, compared to my cost, that's great. I'm super happy about that. As a retailer, I'm stoked about that. This is the only thing you guys are comparing it to are the $385. That's like saying in the pandemic, product was selling really good. It was amazing. MetaZoo was so big in the pandemic.
Where did that come from? Where did anyone compare this to anything in the pandemic? Is that just what you were just? That's what I want to say.
It's a blip in the radar, and like if you pull out and look at it like without that blip, this is a fine set. This is doing fine.
Sure. I don't think they did a deal with Assassin's Creed or whoever. Is it Ubisoft? Ubisoft?
I think it's Boobisoft.
Oh, okay. I'm sure it is. Nailed it, buddy. You're very mature, Louis. Very mature. Outside of the one big day where Epilogue Beyond boosters were on sale from friend of the podcast, The Banana Stand, for $109. The set has sold less than 3,000 total boxes on TCG Player. And not 3,000 of one box. 3,000 across the board. Like, that's not good, buddy. But
they knew this. They knew this was going to be the case. Because we didn't get any at distro. I got 8 boxes of collector boxes.
So don't release it. We don't need it. Modern Horizons 3 just came out.
I agree with that.
We are waiting on Bloomburrow, which we both just agreed is exciting.
You got the value packs?
So, yeah. Actually, you just said this was a successful Magic set, and I just said, don't release it. And you go, well, I agree with that. If it was a successful Magic set.
Hold on. I said it was a successful Magic set. I didn't say there was a point to it. I didn't say it was like, I didn't say it was
better alternative. If the better alternative is to not release the product, I don't know if we can call it successful.
I feel that way about Assassin's Creed. I feel that way about every Universes Beyond
set. You want them to do one set a year. So
I feel like
in which case, if they did one set a year, I think the DLC sets would work great.
Listen, did you do any Assassin's Creed content?
A little bit, yeah.
There are some people who have very strong feelings about Assassin's Creed. Maybe we should pull up one of those for the readers.
Yeah,
maybe we should pull up the guy who was like, this guy should not ever talk about Assassin's Creed again. He was disrespectful to the game.
Wait. I think that guy's going around commenting on videos.
Yeah, dude, there are some
Assassin's roasted Creed by that guy
who are very into Assassin's Creed, and they're excited for it. But yeah, this is ass. This is terrible. This
set is cheeks. Assassin's Creed is cheeks.
Yeah, this set is pointless.
Did you just say yeah?
It's pointless, but it's not flopping. It's not failing.
So let me get this straight. I want to summarize. It's ass. It's cheeks. It's pointless. It's a good Magic set. You've taken all four of those positions
from a market perspective. Okay. This has been a fine set. This is from the perspective of a retailer. This has been a completely okay thing that has happened. It's not going to break me. It's not going to make me. It's some more revenue, and it was fine. Like, that's it.
Who's it cheeks for?
It's cheeks for
the people who buy it.
No, because there's some people who just like Assassin's Creed.
Okay, but there are some. But the rest of the people,
Creed, and you just got a bunch of modern cards, and your format is beaten up by a little bird, and the ninjas aren't going to solve that. Like, what do you want? Like, it's not.
Don't ever disrespect Nadu Horizons ever again. Okay, the bird is the word. This is the way.
Can you imagine if there was a card in Assassin's Creed that could kill the bird? You'd be all about it then, I'm sure.
Oh, if there was a card that got played, you're right. I would. If there was a card that got played, I'd be all about it. It took the best brewer of maybe Magic history to try to convince the community that one card might make an impact. And guess what? It didn't go well.
It did go well.
It didn't go well.
Like, dude, like compare this to a typical Magic set on the secondary market. And this is fine. Like, this is an acceptable thing that they should do if they want to print 17 boxes. And so Mark Rosewater can go to his aunt and be like, look, Aunt, we sold a little bit more product. This is great.
For a company that operates at this size, printing, dedicating an entire development cycle, however short it might be, and however any number of human beings and their effort to develop this set and sell this number of boxes is not a successful release. This works if you aren't trying to move the giant machine that is Magic the Gathering. However,
this is not going to do that. This is not going to move the machine.
So everything else does.
No, that's not true at all, dude.
Their standard releases
Murders at Karlov Manor was such a huge failure compared to this.
You know how many more boxes of Karlov Manor sold on pre-release?
Right, but you know how much more? Do you know how much more money stores lost because of Murders at Karlov Manor than on this set?
No.
Do you know how much money?
Not if you sold on pre-release. Not if you sold on pre-release.
Distro has Murders at Karlov Manor on clearance right now. If you're a distro right now, you're feeling a hell of a lot better.
This release day was 2 days ago. When do you think the Beyond?
They're done. They have no product left. If you're anybody else, if you're anybody in the ecosystem of Magic the Gathering, this set feels a lot better than Murders at Karlov.
So there's no more Beyond boosters. So you're saying the Beyond booster price, the only place it goes up.
What do you mean?
If there's no more Beyond boosters.
There's more Beyond boosters. I'm talking about collector boxes. The Beyond boosters will be in print for, I would anticipate they'd be in print for a year or two.
And that would be terrible.
That's the way that it's going to be.
This is insane.
Why?
This section is hurting my brain. So, okay. So you've made your point. Who's it cheeks for? Who's it asked for? You called it cheeks.
Not a great, it's not a great
not cheap.
It doesn't have anything going for it.
You called it ass. Who's it ass for? It's great for stores.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. You're putting words in my mouth.
You're not defending the words that came out of your mouth. You called it.
I never said that it was great for stores. I said it was a successful Magic set from the secondary market perspective.
Great. Who's it asked for?
It's just kind of like a nothing burger. It's nothing. It doesn't matter. It's like
it's great.
It doesn't matter. It's out
How
there
many-
in the blue, and
How
somebody
many
likes
times do
it.
you want me to ask the question until you answer it?
Who's it asked for? It's
Who's
just
it cheeks for? Who's it a bad
it's
set?
just a bad set. It's just not good.
How? All right. We're stuck. We're stuck in a loop, ladies and gentlemen.
I think that you look at these sets and you want cards that are competitive and modern. This doesn't have that, so it's bad for you. You don't want that.
That is not true.
Okay, then what makes a good set for you?
I think that you have to have several aspects. You have to be able to sit down and play Magic with these cards. That's what
Can't do
Magic
that. You knew you weren't going to be able to do that a year ago when they announced it.
Right, which is why I wasn't high on Aftermath and I'm not high on this, right? Doesn't help.
Yep.
Also, it's not like Lord of the Rings Special Edition, where these cards can be slotted in and actually be DLC to something that Universes Beyond does extremely well. You build a deck, you build a commander deck out of the Universes Beyond cards. You're like, this is my Gandalf deck. It's got all of the characters in it, and it doesn't, you get the special edition Lord of the Rings, and you get some more stuff to throw in there. There's nothing
People are
preceding
certainly
this.
going to be building assassin tribal commander decks with Enzio Auduri A D Ferenzi, and you're going to have to sit down at your damn commander game, and you're going to have to be like,
Yes,
I'm attacking.
I'm sure somebody will.
Ezio Auditore
numbers.
Ferenzi.
Yes, that you're right. That guy at your commander table probably will. 100%.
More people than you think would do that.
But there are far more people otherwise that will have a Doctor Who deck and buy a collector box, or they'll have a Fallout deck. And if they did a Fallout DLC, they will dust off those old Fallout strategies and insert the new cards into it. These don't have a home. You said yourself.
So because they don't have a commander deck set, you can't do that.
Well, you need something beforehand. What if the set beforehand was assassin and ninja themed in the Magic the Gathering space, right? We had a Kamigawa style with assassins and ninjas. Now you can justify the set coming out. You got something to slot these into. They are just.
So if this set came out as an epilogue to Kamigawa, it would be successful.
It would be more purposeful. It would be more successful, in my opinion. You would have a purpose for the cards. You can't sit there. You're a major Assassin's Creed fan. You're going to fill your binder up with a couple things, but then you're going to have to reach into somewhere you're not familiar with to try to find the rest of a commander deck.
You're not going to fill your binder up because there's only 100 cards in the set. So
it's a small binder. It's a small binder.
It's a small binder.
Small binder, man.
Okay, that's the success then. So your success for a set is having cards that are playable in a format.
Cards that are playable in multiple formats.
Okay.
Value in the box, reason to go back to the well. And then how does it age over time? Do we have a pull back to that set? I've held on to those things as a mark for a successful Magic set for some time.
Okay. So I would disagree with you that there's not value in this set.
You're right.
There is value in this set. At this point in time, there are a significant amount of cards over 10 to 15 to $20. You've got 2 swords in here. You got Sword of Feast and Famine.
Is it only the collector's versions from the collector boxes?
I don't know. You've got I don't know what a regular Sword of Feast and Famine is. I've just got the expensive cards. I'm talking just about the collector boxes. That's all. Regular Sword of Feast and Famine is $20. Baskim, I can't pronounce any of these cards.
Yeah,
Baskim, IBN. It's not even a word. There's no vowels in that. I is a vowel, yes.
Well, it's a name, right? Like it's a character.
Yeah. Sort of Light and Shadows, an $18 card. You got you've got value. Everybody who opened a box in my store felt decent after opening the box, other than one guy. One guy was not happy. Sorry. Cody, shout out to you, buddy. I texted him today. I was like, hey, Cole told me you weren't real happy with your box. Anything I can do for you? He was like, no, I just got terrible pulse.
Hey, at least you went to give back.
I felt bad. Yeah. Anyway,
let's not go on loop for too long. It's one of my biggest pet peeves on this podcast. We disagree on the set. We disagree on what makes.
I don't feel like we disagree on the set. I just feel like,
I don't know. You seem to.
I just don't think that it's as big of a failure as you're making it out to be. You're making this set out to be a failure, and from your perspective, I think this is a failing set because it doesn't offer you anything. You don't play Commander. There's no cards for Modern. You don't care about the reprint.
So if you're a Commander, this is a great set. It's a good set.
That's true. I think if you're a commander player, you're excited for the reprint of the 2 swords, and maybe you're excited to build one of these commander decks. Maybe you're like, you know what I want to do? Build a Leonardo da Vinci deck, and you're stoked about that. There's people who that's true.
Didn't you say who's gonna want to do that? Wasn't your take on this was who's gonna want to
play with
Leonardo da Vinci?
I don't know that guy, but dude, a bunch of people bought that card today. 710. There's been 70, 50 sales of that card. Man, 15, 20 sales of that card today.
These are the numbers that you come to May the Zoo be with you for, by the way, that we're throwing out there right now.
If you're on the screen, this many people decided today to buy the Leonardo card. So like obviously somebody cares about it. Obviously it's not me, it's not you, but obviously somebody does. And from a retailer perspective, this was not epilogue. This was not
no, it could never be epilogue because it had a Universes Beyond IP attached.
This was not Murders of Carlisle Manor. This was it. It was a win, even at current prices. After this huge tank that you're saying completely tanked the market, even at the current value, I'm making 30
at your
bucks.
Commander table from here on, from this moment till the end of you playing Magic the Gathering. You're going to see Murders of Carlisle Manor cards 5 times more than you're going to see an Assassin's Creed card. Maybe more.
If I sell this box on TCG Player right now, I make $24.
That's great.
That is better than every standard release that has come out in months.
If you sell a Beyond booster box, you're going to make $24, or you're going to lose money.
I'm saying a collector box. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, if you sell a collector box of Lost Caverns of Ixalan on TCG Player right now, how much are you going to make? Oh, okay.
You chose the other story.
And you chose the one box here where you're making money.
The one that we are talking about on the podcast
you
today.
Keep only thinking this set is just a collector box. That's a you thing. That's a Louis special.
It's not.
It is.
It's not. We were talking about the collector box. That was the point.
No, you keep talking.
We started this off talking about Rudy's thing. We were talking about the collector box.
Talks about the Beyond booster and how he was happy that it held at 120, which it has not.
That's fair. Okay, let's move on.
I tried to move us on 10 minutes ago.
Okay, so I was astonished at Duskmoern when I saw this.
So
they changed the freaking box size. Let me just complain a little bit.
Get it out there. You do it, baby. Hit it up.
Freaking these things make the same damn size boxes. What are they doing? Their printers must be like, what is happening in their design team that every set, the commander box size is different? And I thought it was going to be that Universes Beyond sets were these weird ass square ones that are like rectangles. But now we've got a regular set that's like that. And then you've got the master sets that are like the big fatter boxes. And then all the standard releases are these little skinny ones. It doesn't work on anybody's shelves. I do not understand.
Are you saying Duskmoern is the little skinny one? Is that the one you're referring to?
Duskmoern is the same size box as like the these ones.
Like kind of like one of these ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one. Yeah.
Wait.
This is Duskmoern. And then
cheers.
Here's Commander Masters.
Yeah.
This is Commander Masters.
Can we have a moment of solidarity between
I don't have any of the standard release ones.
Can we have a moment of solidarity between you and I after yelling at each other for the last 20 minutes?
Yours is fancier.
No. Hold on. Maybe the worst type of commander deck box. Like the skinny long ones. Like it takes up so much space. This thing is huge.
Yeah. You thought we were going to agree on this?
What's the worst? What's the worst commander deck box?
These big ass ones.
The old school ones? No, the old school ones are cool. The old school ones are so cool.
These are too big. These suck. These take up so much.
But that's never coming back. That's never coming back.
So I don't understand that. Anyway, regardless, I know why they did this in this set because they're putting the arch enemy cards. Check this out.
Do it, baby.
Arch enemy.
Ooh, is that OG?
OG arch enemy.
Now,
I've never played this.
What?
This is from Magic 12, Magic 11.
Okay. As the resident commander is not as fun as everyone makes it out to be host of this podcast.
We should do an arch enemy. Oh, at Gen Con, let's do it.
Arch enemy.
Let's do arch enemy at Gen Con.
You have to bring me a deck. My deck was stolen.
A commander deck?
Yeah.
Okay.
My deck was stolen. Remember? By I think you.
Dude, that would have been great content.
That would have been a great. If you brought it back to me at Gen Con, that would have been hilarious.
It would have been great to steal your deck and then do a video of me playing your deck and see if you notice. Like, see if you watch the video.
I wouldn't have.
That would have been good content.
That would have been that. You know what? And if you're still doing that, and I still wouldn't notice, I would give you props for that. That would be hilarious. Arch enemy. Did you think that this long into the podcast, we would be discussing PvE and it would be with two different games?
That's not really PvE. Not really. Arch enemy is interesting.
Arch enemy is sweet.
It's cool. It's cool that they're bringing this stuff back. They did this with March of the Machine with Planes Chase. They did this with Doctor Who and Planes Chase.
Wait, do you call it Planes Chase?
Planes Chase.
I think it's just Plane Chase, isn't it? There's no S there.
You're going to the different planes?
I think it's just Plane Chase. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know.
Let us know. Comment section. Hit it up.
Every deck has 8 new to Magic cards. It doesn't seem like there's that many cards in the decks, but I don't know. Kind of exciting to see this. Anytime you have that kind of bonus, it excites people.
This is a massive win to like bring something like this back. And you can't do it with every release, right? It doesn't make sense that we get old. But once a year, you release some new arch enemy stuff. That's pretty exciting. That's pretty cool.
I can already tell the Endless Punishment deck will be the expensive deck.
Why is that?
Because the artwork. All the other ones are these like scrawny looking people that don't look like they could fight at all. And the Endless Punishment deck's this giant demon. Like giant wings, giant demon. I'm definitely gonna be the one that wins. But I'm excited. Duskmoern was my set of the year pick for early on. I think this is gonna be a set that excites people.
So Duskmoern, your set of the year, your set pick.
Well, not compared to Modern Horizons 3, obviously.
Yeah. Yes. How do you feel now, knowing that if I believe, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, and I want you to actually tell us what you said instead of like just picking every single take and machine gunning your way through Magic.
That's not what I did.
Do you think that this set is what you expected when you saw Duskmoern, you saw the splash art? Did you expect like essentially Karlov Manor but House of Horror style? Because that's not what I expected.
No, not what I expected.
So does that make you lose or gain confidence? Because it made me lose a bit of confidence.
So I don't think the theme was bad with Karlov Manor. I think like the theme's fine. I think that the mechanics were too complicated with Karlov Manor.
I have to hard disagree.
Really?
I think we quickly learned, and the cards. Listen, the dig lands out of Karlov Manor are incredible cards. They're literally played in, I think, almost every single format. That aside, I think the theme did not hit home with the community. Detective noir.
I mean, like, that's kind of run and done, right? But like, Wild West, I mean, I don't know, it's not that much worse of a theme. Like,
it clearly is, because Wild West clearly worked.
So my point is that you can pick up so we are in Gen Con doing a box sealed game of Outlaws of Thunder Junction. You, me, and Donald, George and I's best friend. Okay. We're doing a 3. I assume it's called a threesome. Is that what it's called?
I think so. I think you, me, and Donald are doing a threesome. Yeah.
It's called that. Like, we are opening a box and building 3 decks, and then we go play other people. Is that how this works?
Yeah, 3-headed giant style, I'm pretty sure.
No, I thought it was. Anyway, when we do that, we will be able to build the decks, and it'll be really easy for us to communicate what the cards do, because there's basic mechanics and things that make sense. I think what was one of the mechanics? I'm drawing a blank. The cards were easy to understand. It was, oh, that's what that card does. For Murders at Karlov Manor, you open up the card, you look at it, it's a freaking book, and the mechanics are face down mechanics. Everything's weird. Everything is like reactionary. It's just
Hold on.
a
If
complicated
morph is too
thing.
far, if morph is too far, we're in trouble because morph came out way before things got convoluted and
But
complicated.
it's morph plus. It's like a whole different word. It's a whole different thing.
It has ward now.
It's like, dude, it's too complicated. The set was convoluted and complicated. And if Duskmoern is like that, then yeah, dude, we're screwed. I'm out. My takes, that's as bad of a take as, I don't know, the other bad take I had earlier. Like, that's a bad take. But I think the set, like, I think the theme looks cool compared to murders. I don't know. I don't think the theming isn't as big as deal as like the ease to play is.
So
that's why OTJ was good.
So OTJ, remember, came with like, what was it? I'm trying to remember. It was like outlaw, right? Where it was like an assassin, a rogue. So like, this can target an outlaw and this can't target an outlaw. Target outlaw. That is kind of a book of text to read. Then you had the whole committing a crime, which, buddy,
anytime you do something to your opponent. Literally, anytime you do something to your opponent.
Yes, not a community favorite. Committing a crime, not a beloved mechanic.
People loved it at pre-release.
What?
People loved that at pre-release. They were all about it. They're like, tomorrow I'm going to show up, I'm going to build a crime deck. That's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
What?
The one mechanic that I would argue is probably simple enough would be Spree. The one where you can pick multiple modes, right? But even that
more for each one.
Begged the question. It is kicker plus, right? But even that begged the question, why is there an initial cost on this card when I can't cast it for that? I have to cast for that plus something else.
Kicker.
Yes, I know. Listen, you're just 10 years late to that content, and so am I. So I don't want you to just gloss over that the themes of Outlaws of Thunder Junction were that much better than Investigate, right? Like cracking clues. Every time you crack a clue, you get to do something.
I don't know, man. I can tell you when I sat down to play at Carla Manor pre-release. This is all I can tell you. Like, I don't have we'll put George on the screen. I don't have the details to tell you. All I know is that I've played in every Magic the Gathering pre-release in the last 3 years. And before that, I played in a lot of pre-releases. I've been playing Magic the Gathering for 15 years. And I sat down at Murders at Carla Manor and I went to build my deck. I literally said to the guy next to me, I have no clue what the hell these cards do.
Wait a minute. You hate old mechanics that are brought back and overcomplicated? How do you feel about Saddle?
Like
Crew?
It's the same thing. I had no clue. The Saddle mechanic was actually cool. It's been a while since I played OTJ. That's the problem. You keep bringing up OTJ, and I just want to complain about murders, and you keep focusing the conversation on a completely different set.
Because your glossing statement is
I didn't have that. I'm telling you, I didn't have that feeling. I didn't have that feeling at OTJ. I sat down, I built my deck, and I had fun. That's my point. And you couldn't do that with murders. And so if Duskmoern is, you can sit down and play the game and have fun and enjoy it, then it will do great. But nobody wants to buy the Murders at Karlov Manor Commander decks because they had a terrible time playing at pre-release. They don't want to open up the collector packs because they don't know what half the freaking cards do, and it sucks. They didn't have a fun time. If you have a fun time playing, you buy the packs.
Sure, but I think the fun time is also connected to the theme. As someone who doesn't care about theme, who just sits down and plays Magic because that's just who I am. I don't care if you wear a cowboy hat or a detective hat. I played sealed and draft for Karlov, and I enjoyed the set. I can understand where the theme was amiss, and maybe it's just because I've been playing the game for 20 years that I don't have a problem. I hate that everything's a book. We've talked about this. Things need to be simplified, but I didn't have a problem following along. I didn't think it took away from any of the set, the gameplay.
Dude, have you seen this Overlord of the Hauntwoods card?
From Duskmoern?
Yeah.
No.
Dude, this thing looks freaking crazy.
Are you going to put it in the Discord?
Oh my God.
In the dark here.
Dude, go to that link. This thing looks crazy. The foiling on that? Dude, that looks so good.
Oh, I have seen these. The Pokemon border.
Dude, this set is gonna do super good.
There's like nods to real life, like classic movies and stuff in here too.
So wait, what were you saying about the theme? The theme is
what your whole take and my whole take too. I was with you. I thought this was going to feel like more of a Phyrexian. Like when we got the name of the set, the splash art, I thought it was going to be Phyrexian on that plane, that type of Magic the Gathering set.
Yeah.
It's clearly not. It's
what is it, like a horror movie?
Yeah, it's like horror movie, classic horror cinema, horror story, like themed set. It definitely made me think like, oh, I don't like it as much as I like it.
Enveloping house, evil manifest nightmares and glitch ghosts.
Yeah, it's like haunted house, house of horrors type thing.
Huh.
So it just made me less interested.
It's still, dude, like that's still good. Years beyond murder mystery.
I agree with that. Yes, I said the murder mystery theme was terrible. That kicked off this whole conversation.
Yeah, I don't know. Duskmoern's gonna be fine.
Duskmoern's gonna be sweet.
It's got crazy looking.
Do you think it beats Bloomburrow? Because you've got. I didn't think Bloomburrow would be the set of the year. I did not have Bloomburrow. My hot take was Outlaws, and I'm not gonna win.
The only thing about Bloomburrow is, oh man, looks like they have the. It looks like that wandering rescuer card has that oil slick back. It might be back.
Oh yeah. So yes.
Is that true? It's back.
I don't know if it's oil slick, but it is a new type of foiling, and they showed it off somewhere, and it looks ridiculous.
I don't know. I think. Sorry, what was your question you just asked? I was in the middle of answering, and then I saw the wandering rescuer.
Listen, it's a pretty card. My set of the year take was better than I expected, but Outlaws of Thunder Junction. No, are you worried about Bloomburrow? Like this can't beat Bloomburrow, right?
Here's my problem with Bloomburrow. Listen, people are excited about it. It feels so similar to Wilds of Eldraine.
It sure does, doesn't it?
Like it just feels so similar, and it's got to be a better set than Wilds to outdo Wilds. The hype around Bloomburrow might be a lot early, and it might trickle off. I don't know that this set does better than Bloomburrow, though. I just don't see it.
I don't think it can.
It is at the end of the year, which is people always spend more money at the end of the year. It'll probably come down to the special guest slot, because didn't we look at Bloomburrow and there wasn't a ton in the special guests?
I don't know if we've gotten the full list yet.
It might come down to the special guest slot in the question of serialized cards, that kind of thing. I don't think we know enough. If you're asking just theme, I think Bloomburrow is probably a better.
I'm asking how your set of the year take feels right now, because listen, I lost the race.
It feels fine. I mean, I would still put, if I had to redo it now. Is that what you're asking? I might go Bloomburrow.
No, I'm not letting you redo it, because
I might go Bloomburrow. If I had to redo it, I might go Bloomburrow. Yeah. Definitely not OTJ. That was a wild take. Yeah, that was.
No, listen, OTJ has a chance to be number 2. Yeah, Duskmoern's got a lot of
that could happen.
OTJ was fired, and it helped that they had to stuff the epilogue set into OTJ to give more value to the box. That helped. That didn't hurt.
I can tell you, I agree that we have too many sets.
There's
too much going on.
We definitely don't need the DLC sets in this. That's just a big takeaway. If you're doing 6 sets a year, you could convince me a game like Magic can do these mini DLC sets. You got essentially a set a month right now. This is ridiculous.
It's too much.
It's too much.
All right, we're in an hour, so let's get away from Magic. All right, sorcery. So I have a.
Do you have a timer?
No, I got the screen tells me how much.
I can only talk about Magic for 1 hour.
All right, so sorcery. Welcome to the sorcery segment, everyone. This is sponsored by Game Grove. Hey, we do have some events for those of you who need to get this out of the way. Let me get this out of the way. We do have some events coming up. I want to make sure everybody knows about. We are doing a 1K on. Oh, that's really big. We're doing a 1K on August 24th at noon. This is sponsored by myself with George. Oh wait, throw on George to make fun of me. George is making fun of me for sponsoring my own thing. Sponsored by KitchenTableTCG and Collectibles. You're not a sponsor. If you want to be a sponsor, you can put it in.
I told you, I am.
$100 cash tournament.
I'm sending you a shark.
Oh, you're going to send a shark?
I'm going to sign it. I'm going to ruin it.
Winner is going to get a signed. You got to send it to me now. We're saying it.
I'm going to ruin it, and I'm going to sign it.
All right. Winner's going to get a signed alpha foil shark.
Probably a beta foil one. No, I don't have any beta foil sharks. I only have alpha foil sharks.
A signed alpha foil shark by Josh. You're putting that on the internet.
Yeah, why not?
All right. And also sponsored by Mint Collectibles and myself. $1,000 cash tournament, August 24th at noon. $10 entry fee. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So make sure you sign up for that. That is on the Play Network. We got other events coming up too. We have our release event on October 4th. No, which is Friday. We're doing a draft on October 4th, and then a release event on October 5th. We have a lot of stuff coming up for the weekend for that. That's all in the Sorcery Play Network.
I don't have to send it to you. I can just give it to you at Gen Con. Perfect.
Yep. So lots of stuff coming down the line for Sorcery at Game Grove. Now, Josh, I'm not going to tell you which side of the deal I am on. Okay. I'm not going to divulge that information. But if I were going to be buying or selling a complete set, back to George on the screen. If I was going to be buying or selling a complete set, let's go Sorcery Beta of Alpha Beta. Sorry, that's not a word. A complete set of foil beta. What would you anticipate the deal to look like? If I were to put together a set,
do you want me to? Are you asking me to calculate the cost?
No. Okay, let's say the TCG value of the set, the sold listing value of the set is, let's go with $8,500. Okay.
Sure.
What value would you expect as a seller or as a buyer? Would you expect more or less than the value of the cards in the set?
Like we see this with Pokemon all the time, right? They expect more. It seems like most people expect more for cobbling together the whole set. Like that's the thing. I can tell you as a buyer, I'm only interested in buying in bulk if I'm getting a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm only interested in buying your entire collection, all of it, if I'm getting a deal. If I'm not getting a deal, I'm not interested. Yeah. But you could, the logical side of my brain says you should upcharge for the work, especially for something like Sorcery that for a while now has been kind of hard to come by, right? We haven't got a re-release of the box. Shout out to Team Covenant for having them all. And if you didn't know Team Covenant existed, then you didn't know Sorcery, had more boxes. So I think you upcharge.
So you think the seller should expect more money than the value of the cards because they did the work to put the set together?
Yeah, but I don't think that would work across like other TCGs, right? Where things are more readily available, where it's less work to put that stuff together. I think putting together a set of Sorcery is real work. It's a big set. There's a lot of cards in it. And again, to get these trades and fill that set, you got to have some connections. Like that's a lot of work.
Okay. I'm going to disagree with you. And I actually disagree with you. Because I think that a lot of that work is the reason that people set collect. Like I think that if you look at this as a hobby, a lot of the hobby of set collecting is acquiring the cards and pursuing it and doing whatever, and that's a little bit of a adrenaline rush that you don't get when you just buy a full set. When you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna buy the set, it just doesn't feel as special, and so then the buyer doesn't want to put that amount of money up front. I think that's multiplied in with Sorcery. It'll be interesting to see long term what happens. I talked to a couple people about this week, and one of them's an old Magic the Gathering person, and he was like, what we used to do back in the day is you just did the value of the dual lands and the value of the mocks, or sorry, not the box, the power 9, and everything else was free. Like you didn't even consider the rest of the value. Just the top 15 cards were the expensive pieces, and then the rest was just part of it. You didn't even consider it, which I thought was kind of interesting, because back then you would have had a ton of work, right? Like you couldn't just go to TCG Player, hit the order button, and get your cards. You had to find people and trade people, and there was back then some even regional stuff going on.
So don't you think there's a factor? You said it yourself. You're a set collector. You're putting all this effort into, you're getting that adrenaline rush, you're getting that fulfillment, right, out of chasing these things down, filling out when you slot that last card into your not small but now giant binder because it's Sorcery. You slot that last card in, you have that feeling of accomplishment. Don't you think that then ties you to that thing? For me,
you're far less. Yeah, like my alpha set's a perfect example. Like,
so to pry that out of my hands, everything's always for sale, right? But to pry it out of my hands, there's an upcharge there, because now not only did I do the work, if I'm even just thinking as someone who doesn't do this for money, just as a hobby, to pry that out of my hands, I want more because I'm attached to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think from that perspective, for sure. I think there's also other people though who are very much into these hobbies just as secondary incomes and fun things to do to make some money, and they're not attached to it. It's just a way for them to move the product. If you're opening 500 boxes of beta, you have 4 or 5 sets potentially, and you think it's easier to put together a set and sell it and move things in volume than waiting on TCG Player for your singles to sell.
I mean, I guess, yeah, if you're a store opening 500 boxes, or
there's non-stores that are doing that.
I guess if you're Team Covenant, you're the only one who's ever seen 500 boxes, right?
That's not true though. There's a good chunk of people. One of the things I always talk about with sorcery with people is like, if you look at the health of the secondary market in terms of sellers, like there's a lot of people who are doing side hustles and starting businesses around sorcery, or expanding their business around their, like, I'm not talking about physical retail location, but their online single selling, whatever. That's a pretty good health point to a game, to have that many different players, sorry, not actual players, but have that many different
yeah, I know what you mean.
People in the market, shuffling around things is a pretty good factor for health in the game.
Sure, but we've seen that collapse in on itself. Like, that model works until it doesn't, and it's one that collapses very quickly. Right,
it's all based on supply.
You have to build that. You have to build that consistency. So you and I both know businesses, ideas, ventures, YouTube channels, whatever it might be, can start up as quickly as they can end. Right. So I agree with Sorcery here. It would be a bigger sign of health for me if going into Arthurian Legends, you see that continue, right? You got to see that consistency. That'll give you more and more confidence in that ecosystem that you're talking about.
Especially once at a year. Like, Arthurian Legends is a huge stress point because it's once a year, so you have to see that work. Otherwise, there's no redemption afterwards, right?
Yeah, like, you're not gonna have March of the Machine Aftermath bomb, right, and then around the corner comes Lord of the Rings, right? You don't have that benefit.
You got to deal with a bad set for a full year. You got to deal with a bad market then for a full year.
So I mean, I guess in the scenario where it's a retailer, and not only all these things then have to be true, right? Because if you're a retailer, you do care about the dollar amount that you spent. What did you spend on the boxes versus what do you get out of the single cards out of the boxes, right? Mm-hmm. And if you were selling a set and you're saying, hey, to move this amount of product, I'm taking a discount. Well, that means you need to make sure you're able to move almost all of your stuff, or at least more of the chaff that you otherwise wouldn't have, right? To continue moving your business forward. And I think there's far fewer of those full sets being sold than people just out there collecting sets and having them. And then now, Louis, you want a full foil beta set, you're trying to find someone. I think the majority of the people you're going to find that are willing to give you a real set, and not like I have most of this, but I'm missing this. I think you get a lot of stores. You will certainly have a lot of people who are missing like 3 or 4 cards. Exactly. And that's the big one. You have a lot of stores coming out to you. Hey, I have everything but 3 to 4 cards. The guy that's got it all. And let's say, Louis, you don't want 3 or 4 cards, and you don't want to chase on the last 3. The argument was buying a full set. I think you're going to get collector guy. And in my opinion, collector guy should upcharge because everyone's missing 3 or 4 cards. He's not.
Yeah. So I push back to you though too. Cause like, and this is there's no right or wrong here. Right?
It's arbitrary.
This is the point. But if I had
we're really getting into it.
Let's call it $8,000, right? Let's say that a beta foil set's $8,000.
Oh, tough market, just dropped $500.
What did I say? Sorry,
you said 8,500. Tough market.
$8,000. If I've got $8,000 and I care about having a full set, I feel like I would much rather. What does $8,000 get me in boxes? $250 a box, 32 boxes. I think I much rather open up 32 boxes and have the fun of ripping packs and enjoy the process and like enjoy that side of the. I think that's where I would be.
Yeah, but that's you, right?
Yeah.
The scenario we're talking about is someone who their whole goal is to get a complete set.
Yeah, I guess where I was going with that is that the amount of people who want to just spend the $8,000 and buy the set with no work, or is smaller than the amount of people who would enjoy ripping open packs who want to spend a Friday night ripping open packs with their friends to do something like that.
I misunderstood the topic then. I thought you wanted to know what the full set is worth, more or less.
Right. I'm saying if there's less buyers because the person with $8,000 to spend rather do it themselves and enjoy opening packs, then you have to look for a discount when you go to sell the set. Is my point.
Sure, but you're gonna if your whole goal is to open a whole set, you're gonna spend way more than you would buying a set.
I don't know that that's 100% true, especially not if you're selling extras. I mean, I opened a whole alpha set and my cost basis on that entire alpha set is pretty low because I sold the other stuff. What, I'm special?
You have a yes, you Thanks, will man. In many ways, but
Thanks.
Yes.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. I can tell you really mean that. Thanks.
No, I was already nice to you.
Lots of people could have done that. Like lots of people had way more ability to take more risks than I did on sorcery.
Saying lots of people had more ability to take risk is not accurate. Of the sorcery fans, of people who are aware of sorcery, the number of people that had the opportunity to take more risk than you was not more than 50%. It was not more than half of everyone who knows about sorcery.
Not putting a percentage on it.
I'm saying you are in the top echelon of people who bought into and have interacted with sorcery. There are very few people on planet Earth that have done more with sorcery than you have.
I'm saying if somebody wanted to do the work, like what people didn't see about the full set was the amount of hours it took me to list the cards and to sell the cards and to pack the cards and to organize the cards and to ship the cards and do all that stuff.
All just want to do the work.
Why
right? That's not the only thing that made you get your alpha foil set. You have connections. You're known and the people feels comfortable selling to you. All of those deals, nothing railroads them, nothing stops them. You're much harder to scam. You also have access to product owning a store. You don't have to go to the game store. You get things at distribution cost.
I bought most of my sorcery product on the secondary market.
Yeah, but you also backed the game from Kickstarter and had all of the stuff that most people did not do.
A lot of people, but
I don't think it's not just the work that's separating you
a lot
from
of
the average person who wants
my point is that a lot of it there are people who don't have a YouTube channel who did that into open pact and sold
and their road was harder than yours.
Sure,
and their
that's
road
fair.
Was more difficult than yours. It's not impossible, but the work is not what separates that from happening.
And I guess my point that I was trying to get to is that the person who wants a complete set, I think the vast majority of people who want a complete set want to feel the work to get it. That's part. It's like a map, right? Like if you've got a daughter, right? If you give your daughter, I don't remember how old your daughter is. If I give my daughter, my 5-year-old, a map and I'm like, hey, let's go on a treasure hunt around the house. Yeah, for sure. We do this all the time. It's like, hey, there's a treasure hunt. Sometimes I don't even know where the treasure is. I just draw her a map and then we go follow the map. If I'm like, hey, you want to teleport to the end, that would not be that much fun.
No.
The fun of the map is the treasure hunt.
It's the friends we meet along.
Running around the house with her dad, trying to find things and going back and forth and whatever, up and down the stairs 3 times. That's the fun of that. And I think the buyer of a full set is not going to exist. And so then I think the set's got to be discounted. That's my point. Does that make more sense?
I mean, maybe, but again, I just still will push back. And I think that you'll still find buyers of full sets who just want to snap buy one. I think given the amount of work and the love and the care that you put into it, I think people are going to upcharge for it. I think it's 2024 and 2024, especially in our hobby. I think people associate like their effort and their love of their collectibles to have some value there. But if the conversation is which is more fulfilling, dude, I'm with you. Like opening a full set and like trying to chase down those last 4 cards sounds way more exciting. Yeah. Like that's obviously way more exciting. That's obviously way more fun. It's just also much more difficult. And for some people, not as feasible.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. I bought the set. I was the buyer, not the seller.
Nice.
I think there was a small discount, but it wasn't that much. But
That's cool. Was it a beta foil set? Because that's the example you used.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Star Wars Episode 2.
No. Womp, womp, womp. You know why they can't call these episodes, right?
No. Tell me why.
Because there's not going to be 8 of them at the rate they're doing. There's not going to be 9 of them. They're not going to make it.
We got George on the screen already. We don't need 2 Georges here.
Why
are you negative about Star Wars now? You were Mr. Star Wars. Your whole thing was Star Wars.
Buddy, don't even. I have criticized the inability to print a box for a trading card game. I don't know where this
Did you know that I'm secretly a fan of Star Wars?
What?
Did you know I'm secretly a fan of Star Wars?
You're secretly a fan?
Yeah, did you know that?
You're not secretly a fan. What are you talking? I'm so confused. What are you talking about?
You shouldn't be confused, but it's okay.
Okay.
I made a video called "I'm secretly a fan of Star Wars," and then I had to delete it. You didn't know this?
No.
How does George know that and you didn't? You're supposed to watch the channel,
buddy. If you haven't figured out that George watches your content by now, you're behind.
George doesn't watch. That's ridiculous.
He references it an awful lot. He also references the comment section that he doesn't read.
Yeah, he does. That's actually.
So
I haven't noticed that. All right, so set 2. How's it doing? Tell me. You got your data?
Great.
Do you have your link? Give me the link to your data.
Oh, sure. You want the link? You want this? You want the
link?
You want the juice?
Where can I find this link?
You can go to cardboardfinance.com and click through and find the Star Wars section, or you can support Hometown TCG as a channel member and make it so I don't have to pay all these server costs myself.
There you go.
Hurts my pockets. I tell you, buddy.
Not good.
It's not the best. It's not the best
compared to the other set.
What did you say?
2,400 boxes sold compared to set 1. That's crazy. So 1 was released. I guess release would have been March of 2024 for this set. That's crazy.
So, in fairness, in the comparison, if we take a look at like pre-release comparison, Spark of Rebellion sold more boxes, right? Sold a third more boxes, roughly. But it wasn't coveted during pre-release, remember? It wasn't super early on TCG Player. It was late to TCG Player. The prices hadn't spiked, so everyone wasn't excited. This is kind of benefiting from a bit of that FOMO. It's still underselling a little bit, and the prices are kind of holding steady. It does not elicit much confidence.
I don't know if I totally agree with that. So like this is where these small games get really weird, because almost all the boxes for Star Wars Set 2 are getting to stores who are running events.
Yeah.
And stores who have people in their local community who are playing. It's not like it's kind of hard to like, it's hard to figure out an example. It's not like Magic where as a store I get way more product than I need for like my locals. Does that make sense?
Right.
Like I could have sold every single box of Shadows of the Galaxy at MSRP that I got times 5,000. Times 50, a realistic number.
Yeah.
I'll use a real number. I could have sold every single box that I got in my store locally if I got 50 times more boxes.
Sure.
Like they would have sold.
Sure.
So I have no incentive of putting them up on TCG Player. So the TCG Player data will never see the vast majority of stores' boxes. I think that's true. Compare this to Set 1, where like, I mean, on Set 1, I bought a bunch of boxes and I put them out at my store and literally nobody wanted them. It was, my boxes were at $110 a box. TCG Player was like $85 a box. Nobody bought them locally. And then all of a sudden, something, I don't even remember what the catalyst was, but boxes were insane. Everybody wanted them. We had to limit them in store because we were out and we couldn't get more, and like everything was nuts. So it's hard.
No, I agree with you there. That's not my point. What I'm seeing here is based on exactly the situation you just described. You are you described it as it's a small game. It's this, right? And I agree. It is at this point a small game. It's also branded with the Star Wars logo. You should not have to not have the product that you need. You should be able to, if you choose, to sell all of your boxes on some secondary market of your choosing, whether it be Game Grove, whether it be TCG Player, however you see fit, because this game should have a great amount of reach. To see your first set spike and then to see those numbers not rise shows a drastic inability to print the sales numbers.
Sales numbers and number of boxes sold.
Yes, because now we had excitement. We had a spike. We've had time.
So do you think that those numbers would be increased if the boxes were $120 on TCG Player?
Because if the boxes were they're 155, 165 right now, something like that.
Yeah, because like what I see when I look at this data is I see in April of 2024, okay, for set 1, 2,000 boxes sold on your data. That would have been boxes over $200. I think for set, like that's after the huge spike. In May, 1,000 boxes sold, and in June, 500 boxes. We're out of June, right? In June, 500 boxes sold. And here in June, 1,500. In July already, we have 800 boxes have sold at $160 a box. So you can assume almost 3,000 boxes by the end of the month potentially will have sold at the $150-ish price point. Like, I think that's pretty good volume in terms of comparing it. If you take out the huge spike of 8,500 boxes, that's a pretty good number compared to the other 3 months of data.
Yeah, but I don't think all of those boxes of the 8,500 all sold at $200. There was boxes that were selling on the way up to the $200 price point.
Right. I'm saying the $8,500 or the 8,500 boxes that sold in March. The vast majority of them, in my opinion, are similar to the boxes that like I'm selling at my local store. They're boxes that got scooped up for a different reason than like tracking on TCG Player.
Sure.
And so I think the volume is actually interestingly decent on TCG Player.
My point is it's fine. You had an opportunity to capitalize on some very serious hype, some very serious community interest, and a community that was booming.
And instead they printed the same number of boxes. So
exactly.
Whatever.
And much like we criticized Lorcana for, this is a game that does better on shelves. You got Star Wars characters you get to put on your box, right? And yeah, you're right. These games have to hit. When you put them out there right away, any new game, I don't care who you are, if you're Disney, Lorcana, whatever, you still have to hit. You have to have something that makes someone buy your pack for the first time. But I think Star Wars got over that hump. I think they did that.
Yeah.
We got that to happen. We're not capitalizing on it.
So
you're in a growth phase right now.
I don't see this being as big as Lorcana. Let me put George on the screen to tell us.
That's not a hot take.
I told you so. There, George is saying I told you so to us.
No, well, hold on. I told who so. Nobody ever thought this was going to be as big as Lorcana.
Yeah. I think that
it just plays in the same arena as Lorcana. It's never going to be as big, but it plays in the same space.
So I think what this game doesn't have is the family buy. Like there are families that walk into Target, into local game stores, into Walmart, and they see the Lorcana and they have no TCG experience, they have no TCG background, and they go and they buy it not to play a TCG, but to collect the cards. Sure. I don't think that this has that. Like it doesn't have the
family tie. I know people, I personally know people that buy this to collect the cards. So I know that happens. And it doesn't happen at a Lorcana-ian level. Of course not, because it's not classic Disney characters. But like, look, man, if you're not going to play in that arena, then you play with Yu-Gi-Oh! And Digimon, where you are an IP branded game, a known IP, and your box should be available. Like this game does not sit out on its own, and if it does, it dies. I want this game to succeed.
I think I agree with the logic of what you're saying. I disagree. I guess I disagree with the Lorcana comparison. I think so. Like compared to
hold on. What Lorcana comparison? Because I think
you said it should be like Lorcana and sit on the shelf.
Well, a game like this sits on a shelf better than a game like Sorcery. Because
sure.
somebody that's
Okay, so
the
switch
point.
out Lorcana for me, just for the sake of me and my stupidity in my brain, because when you say Lorcana, it just shuts down. Compare this to One Piece. How should this be handled compared to One Piece?
This very similarly, right? This game lives on a shelf well because somebody can walk in off the street
Who
and
loves
see
One
that
Piece
and
for
just
one
be like,
star?
I'm a Magic player. I'm a Pokemon player. I'm a Magic player. I'm other TCGs. I see that. I want to try that because I like that thing, right? It gets to live in that arena. And to excel in that arena, you should be readily available. You don't do as well if your whole goal is to be based off a well-known thing and you also want to play we're going to hyper limit and print everything and not give enough boxes. You're fighting against yourself. And I see that here with the secondary market information, right? We should see more significant growth here. Instead, we see scaling back because boxes are not available and they're fighting against themselves. They're cannibalizing their own opportunity.
So it's hard because I think there's a line. I don't think printing to a right, I go back to Lorcana, I'm sorry. Like Inklands is $90 a box right now. That doesn't feel good. That's too much. They printed too much of that. Like they have oversaturated the market.
Right.
Like there's a line. And like frankly, One Piece is running into this a little bit with their reprint and their restock.
This thing came in. You keep referencing One Piece. This thing came in the other day. I got a bunch of these that you convinced me to buy.
Yeah, you're welcome. The easiest doubling of your money you've ever had in your life. You're welcome. How many did you get? You get 4?
Yeah.
I accidentally sold one online for $110.
Let's go.
Pissed myself.
Anyway,
so like the Star Wars thing, like it does have like the 2-player starter kit, right? Like you can walk into almost any store and you're going to see plenty of those. Like the supply of that's huge.
Yeah.
One of the ways they could have solved the whole thing is do what Lorcana did and put a booster pack in this thing. Like that would have been great. Like Sorcery does that too, right? Like you have a booster pack on it, then you get that experience, and you don't get the value. It doesn't go up a ton because you're spending too much money on the other stuff. I think you got to be really careful with the booster boxes. Maybe a 25% growth in the one of the bigger problems in compared to the number of boxes printed is the way they distributed this. I know stores who were at Southern and they got 400 boxes of set 1 and they got 25 boxes of set 2.
Sure.
Like, it makes no sense. The distribution is, in my opinion, a bigger issue. I didn't get screwed like that because I got most of my boxes through Asmodee, but I don't know.
To be clear, I'm in no way suggesting that this can be. I think Into the Inklands, and even to a certain extent, Ursula's Return, is not going to hurt Lorcana as much as it would other games because of the massive audience, the gigantic reach that just stamping Disney on your box gives you. And listen, they do have a bit of history of success at this point, right? They got that behind them. I am going to say that while you shouldn't go that far, the pendulum did not swing in that direction at all. We're not seeing it swing in that direction in the slightest. And it should. It should be creeping up there. You should be moving towards your limits because you're in a growth phase. I'll say this until I'm blue in the face. This game right now is in a growth phase. Much like Lorcana, I so don't care about the price of your box, provided we're not looking at Metazooian numbers, right? Like as long as your box is sitting at, and again, it's horrible to say, but like it gets out and after a while, it's eventually at store cost, right? That's probably not even that bad because your whole goal right now, are people having fun playing it? Are people collecting it? And can people get your product? And that ecosystem does not exist here.
Well, and you run the danger of like what's happened with One Piece is people quit the game because they can't get the product and they're frustrated with it. And like I guess it's hard because I don't necessarily see that a lot. I know for some stores that's a struggle, but like anybody at my store who's been playing, they were able to order 3 boxes. Like I set aside 3 boxes for everybody who's been playing there. So like it's kind of hard. I don't know.
Right, but when your community is already niche and your store might have worked, but like you said,
Right.
the store that got 300 boxes now gets 3. Well, their community of 14 to 18 people is now decimated.
Well, and then the people who don't have a local game store too, that's where this really hurts. Is like if you don't have a store, how do you even try to get stuff now? You're just stuck with secondary market, and it's like I don't know, it's kind of difficult.
So it's more evidence that, in my opinion, this game was ready for more boxes. And since they're not coming, and to their credit, they came out, they didn't do the scummy thing, which would be like, no, it'll be fine, and let release happen and be like, we're getting there. Well, you'll get some.
Right.
They came out and said, hey, be patient. So I am interested to see, I want to see these boxes start to sell in meaningful numbers. Set by set, especially in your early sets, you should start seeing, a good amount of boxes consistently sold. Yeah. And with the lack of availability, we don't have a chance to get there.
And you'd see the game increase in player base too, which would be good. Yeah. This set, I mean, power level seems pretty pushed. That's one thing I'm worried about. It's like they cannot push every set this far. They cannot. You can't take these giant leaps. They have 4 sets a year. You can't take these giant leaps every single.
No, you can't. But that's almost more acceptable. We've seen successful games have this history where their second and third set is like Lorcana recently. We're going to talk about this in the last section. Took a card from set 2 and was like, yeah, our bad. Got to fix this. Right. Like that is almost recoverable to me. The thing that this world that we've created where you don't have to have boxes on your of your game on shelves just to preserve some value, especially when you stamp Star Wars on it or One Piece or Disney. Like it's a wild proposition to me.
Did you see the Gen Con stuff?
No, I didn't. What's up?
I'm gonna put it in the Discord for you.
Ooh,
there's exclusive to cons, so not just Gen Con.
Sure.
But Gen Con will have them, and there's 7 cards. I'm just gonna send you the Darth Vader. There's 7 cards. I guess it's in that box. It's like a whole box of. I would guess it has maybe it's 5 cards. All the cards in it, and they look so freaking cool. Now I don't know any of the details on this. I don't know if it's limited to 1 per person or if you have to get in one of their events or if you have to win an event or whatever. But we need to make sure we get these at Gen Con. And if you're at Gen Con and you see me and you want to sell me yours, I will buy it. I will buy a bunch of them. I've got so many people who are like, Louis, you're going to Gen Con. Can you pick me up this? I'm like, what if they limit it to 1 and I can only get mine?
Yeah. Then no. Then the answer is no. I can't.
So I'm gonna buy a bunch of them when I'm there.
I was trying to think. I was looking at this box that you just sent, and I'm trying to find my the Fab Rudy bundle, and I was like, oh, when has a little black box of cards ever boned me? When has that ever happened? There's 2 of them sitting around here somewhere.
And I think that they put a new card that we've never seen in this before, by the way.
Really?
Which is kind of I'm right. So this Asanji, I'm gonna send it to you. It's not in any of the sets, so it's like a
Is it playable?
I think people are talking. I just Googled it on TCG Player and it's not for sale on TCG Player, so I think I'm right. I saw this very briefly, so comment section. I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is a new set or new card potentially from set 3.
From set 3, that's kind of cool.
And so you have the Separatists now is like a thing with Count Dooku and stuff. I don't know. I have to admit, the more and more I look into the Star Wars game, the more I want to go back and watch Star Wars again. I used to watch Star Wars every year. Like I would sit down, I would watch episodes 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, and I loved it. And like every year, once a year, I would do that. It was like a thing that I did all the time. And like then they came out with all the movies and they came out with all the shows, and now there's like 14 billion different things. You can't do the full, weekend.
Yeah.
And so now I never do it. And like seeing Count Dooku on a card, Count Dooku's assassin on a card made me be like, man, I haven't watched the prequels in probably 10 years.
And like that's the feeling that they could capitalize. You'd be at Gen Con, you'd be bored, and we would be having a Star Wars conversation, and you'd be like, hey, let's split a box and just do a box opening, you and me.
Yeah.
And we would record. Why? because we're just like excited to open it.
Yeah.
Right. That's what you're missing. That's what you're not capitalizing.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. All right. What are our last topics? Lorcana at Jeffrey B's. Oh, Lorcana selling on Amazon.
FEB. Amazon dumps.
Yeah.
Amazon dumps are back, baby. Amazon dumps are back.
It doesn't surprise me. I don't know. It doesn't surprise me.
Not at all.
That's my take.
No.
I don't have a take on this. I don't actually care about this that much.
So this is one of those things. It's a feels bad if you bought the product, like as it was with Magic. It was with Magic too. It felt bad when Brothers War collector boxes went on Amazon dump at $140 when you paid, $180, $200 for them. That felt bad. Like there's no skirting around that. It feels bad. Did it kill the game? No. Does repeated use of this system instead of fixing your process do damage? Yeah, it does.
I found where all the troves went. I didn't realize there were troves.
It's not nothing, right? Because this is the first instance we've seen of this. If we see it over and over and over again, we have a direct case study where it damages an ecosystem. Streets of New Capenna, I love you. Come back.
117 is a little low.
Well,
so like
the Amazon dump price was 94, I think.
Oh, did it go all the way down to 94?
I think it was in the 90s.
Basically cost.
Yeah. So what you're looking at right now, if you're showing 117,
power just went off and on. So hopefully
you're still here, at least for me.
Yeah. I don't know what that was about.
But it's just so you know, the Amazon dump conversation is not based around the 117 price point. It was in the 90s. I think
that's pretty low. That's way too low.
So, but that's what I'm saying. That's why it's not nothing.
Yeah.
Right. And if you repeatedly use the system or this system instead of fixing misprinting your product, don't you think it's dangerous?
Yeah, but you also want boxes on the shelf. Like this is where it gets.
You want boxes on the yeah, and I'm not saying it's easy. It's not fun. You got to manage that.
It's impossible. So I think it is impossible to have boxes on the shelf that's go within $10 of MSRP and print what you were saying. It's impossible. Nobody can figure that out, and nobody ever will.
Sure, but you would like to see a correction from them? Set 5 fewer boxes printed.
Yeah,
because right now there are boxes on the shelf, and you are selling on Amazon at 94.
We gotta put George up because he'll hate everything I'm about to say.
Well, that's because he's wrong.
So here's what I think Lorcana needs to do now at this point. Lorcana needs to say chapter 1. They don't need to say it. Chapter 1 needs to just be out of print. Chapter 1, the singles are readily available. Like you need to move on. They've got their 5th box coming out. Chapter 1 should be out of print. They should do a small reprint of Floodborn, then Floodborn should be out of print. You have to move on from this stuff. And people have had plenty of time. And once the back end of stuff is cleaned up and the market is accepting of wherever the price point falls, the front stuff will kind of go. But I think for the next set, they should reduce the number of boxes for sure. They printed way too many boxes.
That's what I'm saying.
Boxes of Ursula's. We got to the point where stores were ordering 500 boxes, 600 boxes, hoping that they would get 80 boxes. Right. And if they did the thing and they printed the 500 boxes per store, they're screwed. That's way too many boxes. Now they can move them in different places, and Ravensburger is probably a big enough company that the cash flow of those boxes isn't going to kill them. They've got plenty of board games they have plenty of other things that aren't Lorcana.
Yeah, that's not the discussion. Yeah.
So they can sit on those boxes for 5 years, or they can put those boxes in Disney stores, right? They can move those boxes in different places. Right. I don't think that putting them up for $94 on Amazon is the right play. This is where it's like, put them in Disney stores and let them sell for 2 years. You're going to get your money out of them eventually, and you don't ruin the secondary market, the whole ecosystem. That's where I don't agree with things.
Right. And I don't think, I agree with that. This is not like an end all be all. You make a good point. You throw them in Disney stores, but your statement of I want them to improve. I want them to see that's what I'm saying. This is a signal of, right? We're seeing a flare go up of we got an Amazon dump, didn't have to do it. I want to see them correct. Just like I was critical in the first chapter, just like I am with Star Wars. Print your game. And then they corrected, right? It's an ecosystem.
Another thing that they could do instead of the Amazon dumps, I'd like to see a lot more games do this. If you feel like you've overprinted boxes, then give an incentive for stores to run sealed events with those boxes.
Yeah.
If you come out with a promo that any player who plays in a sealed event from this month to that month of Ursula's Return gets a really cool Ursula promo, whatever.
Right.
As a store, it doesn't cost me anything I already have those boxes.
Right.
I run my event at MSRP per pack. Everyone's just excited to get the promo, and it moves through a ton of boxes.
That takes a lot of love and care for your game, because from Ravensburger's perspective, they don't benefit off that. That costs them money to send you a promo, and they already sold you the boxes. Right. It helps their game, and it helps the players, it helps the ecosystem. That's but fair. There's no direct benefit for them to do it. So I just don't think they'll do it. I do just like we do this with Lorcana, and everything will always be fine because it's Disney. This is not a good step. You want to see them now. Okay, we hit this point. We have this like emergency marker went off. Oh crap, we're selling boxes $90 on Amazon. Let's correct again. It's a living ecosystem. You would agree with that, right? Like managing a TCG is not like always print 125,000 boxes and everything always works.
Yeah,
it's or 225 or 228 or whatever,
or 400,000.
Yeah, and then never release unlimited, and it'll be fine. Trust me, bro.
And ban anybody who said that. Yeah. Hey, he's on the podcast. But here's the thing. This is the big part. When boxes were $400 and everybody was complaining, what did they do?
They said we're going to print this thing into the ground.
They came out and they said,
yeah.
Here's where we figure out, do they have cojones or not? Do they come out now and say, hey, we overprinted and we are going to reduce the print of what we're doing on the next set? Because I think that communication is every bit as important as the first communication. But the problem is that people look at those two communications very differently. One feels like I'm pumping everyone's bags. The other one feels like I'm
admitting defeat.
And like they have to, in my opinion, have the cojones to make that statement and say, look, we feel like we don't want this to be the normal. We don't want to go on Amazon and sell boxes at $94. They don't have to say word for word like that, right?
Yeah.
But we don't think that this is where we want the game to be. And instead, we're going to do that. That's what I would like to see them do. Now, they will not do that.
No, there's literally no win to do that. And also, we don't expect.
Why is the win on the other side?
To say, hey, because you're giving confidence to your community. Hey, these boxes won't be $400. Are bad. We're gonna.
Yeah, but you're giving. I think the community also wants confidence that their boxes aren't going to be $94.
But we've seen games succeed in just making the change without having to come out. Magic has done a great job fixing their collector box model, especially their collector box model. Yeah. And they never made a statement. Mark Rosewater's aunt never got on top of her soapbox on her old Victorian home and in her 90, which I'm assuming, old school, really gray, long one, and is like, we're going to print less collector box. They just did it. Lorcana exists, and they're not at magic scale, but they exist at a scale where they could just do that. Where they could just fix things without having to have an announcement. Yeah. I think when it is important to have that at first announcement. Your box price spikes to $400. You're a brand new game. People have no reason to have confidence in you as a company. Hey, we realize this. We see this. Now the train is moving. I think you fix the train, you fix the machine without having a press conference about it every time. Unless
that's the right way to do it, but I want to see the announcement.
Well, that's because you just want to bang on George for something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of George, let's get to his Sorcerer's secret shosh.
Secret shosh?
Yeah. Do you want your shosh first?
No, you can first. No, go for it, buddy.
All right. So, Cole, I love you. All right. So my employee this week, while I was on vacation, bought a copy of Pokemon Blue. Okay.
Cool.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. The Game Boy game.
So Have you ever fixed a Game Boy game?
Not officially, as a kid trying to scrape off the little pins and clean things out, but no.
Yeah. So almost all Pokemon games, the save battery doesn't work. So you got to open it up, take out the save battery, put a new battery in. It's an easy fix. It's not a big thing.
Sure.
Anyway, this copy of Pokemon Blue was, disgusting. It was completely gross. I literally got the front of it completely faded off. You couldn't even see that it said Pokemon Blue. The only reason you knew it was Pokemon Blue is because the cartridge is blue, and so everybody knows that it's Pokemon Blue. There's the cartridge. So I go, I walk in the store today. I get see the game. Like, hey Cole, what'd you pay for this? Like, why would you buy it? He goes, dude, I paid him $10. I had to get him out of the store. It was one of those scenarios. We just had to get him out of the store. And I was like, oh, totally get it, man. Like, whatever. So we always have people who come in the store. They're obviously like, I don't want to make any judgments about them. If they spent money on drugs, I wouldn't be surprised. I'll just leave it at that. Okay. I'm going to leave it at that. So I've got this copy of Pokemon Blue, right?
Sure.
Cost me $10. It's disgusting. Grossest thing that I've washed my hands like 10 times with dishwashing soap, and I still feel gross right now. But here's my question to you. This Pokemon Blue had a lot of cake on it that was like black residue. Okay. I tried to fix it because I always try to fix games. It's like a little challenge to me to see if I can fix things and, make a buck off it. It's like a little challenge. I've never not been able to fix a couple of times. I haven't been able to fix a cartridge game. This is one of the only times I haven't been able to fix the game. It was disgusting. I swabbed it. I tried whatever, but I had this thought, and this is the Sorcery secret sauce. If this was what I think it was, and if it was crack, if this was the residue on it, I think it was not smoke. It was not like it was not smoke from cigarettes. Okay. Like, I know what that smells like. I've cleaned that off of 100 games before. This was like, I'm pretty sure it was crack. It was pungent. It was whatever. So the question I had for a lot of people in the store was, if I bought a game from somebody that was covered in crack, would I legally be able to sell it, or is it a drug?
I say you sell it. What do you
mean?
No,
I want to know legal. I know what you would do. I know what you would do.
What do you mean? You absolutely legally sell it.
You think?
100%.
So I cleaned it off, so it wouldn't actually have been. But could I have been arrested for having crack on me? It's like caked crack residue.
Absolutely not. At that point, if it's residue, it's likely used.
Oh, it was definitely used.
Yeah. Oh, well then 100. What? 100%. You can sell that. That's legal.
Okay.
You can go down to the police station and sell that to a cop.
You want a copy of Pokemon Blue?
And now
the dogs are barking. The dogs are.
Your business is now surrounded on the daily, but for that specific transaction, you're probably not arrested.
This thing, like, it was.
I never thought, like, yeah, that would be a good source of old video games, provided you can clean them up.
No, it was not. It was.
The cooler story is to fix it. Play it on a plane. If you can get that thing through TSA, if you can fix it and play it on then I think you win. Like, whatever the game is, you win, right?
I was pretty bummed that I couldn't fix it, to be honest. I cleaned that thing. I had that thing. You would not have been able to tell that thing was smoked out of a crack pipe.
Drug dogs would.
the dogs probably would. But it was like corroded.
When you're suddenly on a couple lists.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my Sorcery secret sauce today. What's yours?
Okay. Mine is stolen from George Secret Sauce himself.
Did he send you one?
Well, I poo-pooed it because I told him, I know what you're doing, and this is the only correct opinion about this. Okay. I missed out on the post 4th of July show. Took my daughter, went to a minor league baseball game, saw fireworks, And the next day we got up early, went to a parade. I had friends that did the 9, 9, and 9 challenge, which sounds miserable. 9 hot dogs, 9 beers, and 9 innings. The 9 beers, doable. 9 hot dogs. Yeah. 9 hot dogs, no chance.
Dude, that's disgusting.
So it's disgusting. But the beers, totally doable.
I would do it. Let me be very clear. I would not say no to that.
You could not. You could not. Buddy.
So I would lose it.
Oh yeah. You can't.
Yeah.
And you lose.
But like I used to have a rule, no joke. I used to have a rule that I would eat anything for money. You could if you paid me $5 or more, I would eat.
I'm not getting into the 9.99 challenge. That's not what the secret schwash is today. But table that for next week when George is back, because I bet he thinks he could do it.
No,
not the 9 beers. I would only ask George about the 9 hot dogs.
Yeah, he wouldn't do the beers.
No,
he'd be worried about being drunk. He'd be like,
I would only ask. Oh, which you are, but I would only ask him about the hot dogs.
So here's the thing: that game's way more difficult today than it would have been 5 years ago because of the speed clock, right? The pitching clock.
Yeah,
that's got to be a tough game these days.
Yeah, and not every baseball stadium sells the skinny little Nathan's hot dogs. Some of these are big fat all beef boys.
Expensive too. It's got to be $180 to play.
You go to minor league baseball and you get the wristband, and your entire family eats for $55, and all your drinks are paid for, and all the food for $55.
Free beer?
Yeah, I paid $55.
I gotta go to minor league.
It was.
Why don't we record the podcast at minor league baseball?
Because we'd get banned from more stuff. Banned from point being.
Okay.
4th of July, great. Time off barbecuing.
Is this about parades?
It's capitalized by parades and fireworks.
Parades are stupid. Is that the question?
Yeah. How do you feel about parades and
fireworks?
Parades
are so freaking dumb.
How do you feel about fireworks?
Fireworks are cool.
No, fireworks also dumb. Both dumb.
Now,
what are we doing?
Parades are the dumbest thing in the universe.
Parades
are only cool. Yeah, I believe this. Parades are only cool if you're 70 years old and you're in a parade and you think that's important, which it's not. But at 70, you also think a value pack is good for Magic, right? So that's
your nephew is a very famous game designer for Magic the Gathering.
Or if you're 5 years old and people are throwing candy at you. Any other age, it's completely crazy. And I think even like there's a little bit of a disservice as an adult being like, I'm going to take my kid to this place where people are going to throw candy at them. I don't know. I'm not judging other parents. I would judge myself. And I judge my mom. My mom's always like, I want to take your kids to the parade. I'm like, why? Just give her candy. Like, take her to a dollar store and get her candy.
Did that. We took my daughter to the parade, and I'm very active. I like when she's moving around. We don't sit there and watch. We're up, we're picking up candy, and after about 5-10 minutes, she's doing something else. Yeah. Right? She's running around. She's looking, oh, daddy, puppy. Like, yeah, puppy. Let's go walk. No interest, right? Parades are the worst.
I guess there's a little bit of an element of like, there's a giant, like, if the parade is like there's a giant Minnie Mouse. If we're talking New York City level Macy's Day Parade, as long as you're not watching on TV.
First of all, nobody is. Everyone's talking their local town parade.
Yeah, hometown parade. That's what I'm talking about. I don't want to rob my kid from seeing Mickey Mouse.
Yes.
Like that is different. No. Unless you're watching on TV. That's stupid.
So we're in agreement. Parades suck. Fireworks also great. So I have 2. Hold on.
I didn't say that about fireworks.
Hold on. I'm 2 nephews, 2 and 4 watching fireworks. I have completed the 1/2 of the 9 challenge, and I've done extra credit, and the fireworks come on, and my nephews are climbing on me.
You did the beers and you ate some hot dogs.
I did. No, I ate no hot dogs.
Okay.
That's a lie. I ate 2 hot dogs, but that was not out of challenge. That was just I'm in a ballpark. I want a hot dog. The fireworks come on, and you're
9 beers deep.
Plus. And we're very excited for 30 seconds. And then they just want to go play with Uncle Josh and jump and climb on my shoulders and roll around and like do not care about the fireworks at all. Fireworks
do not put kids on your shoulders after 9 beers. That seems like a hazard. You are 18 feet tall. That seems like maybe something that shouldn't happen.
I'm a funkle, okay? I'm a fun uncle. But nobody cares about the fireworks. You sit there, you wait for the finale. There's a chance that during the finale you go, oh wow, that's a lot more fireworks, a lot faster than
Did
normal.
you see the fireworks like
and
10
then you
years
go
ago?
home.
Did you
It's
see the
so bad.
fireworks like 10 years ago? The whole 30-minute display when there was like a computer issue and it went off in 30 seconds.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah,
That was
that's how
fireworks.
every fireworks show should be.
And then you sit in traffic and you have crazy lines to get out of wherever you're at. You're bit by mosquitoes. Everyone's cranky. The kids are up way too late, and you have a ringing in your ears. Fireworks easily as bad as parades.
No, that's not.
Actually, that's not true. A little less bad.
Okay. 2 hours in.
Wow.
Yes or no questions only. One question. I only want your opinion. Should Biden say yes to Trump's golf outing challenge?
Yes, I want the content. I'd start another.
America wants it. The podcast wants it.
Let's start another YouTube channel. Let's watch it. Live stream it.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, for listening. Don't forget to go to cardi.io/contact if you are a game developer looking for some awesome resources for you. Don't forget to go to gamegrove.gg and use the discount code GamerGrove to save 6% off of whatever you want, even your Bloomburrow pre-order. You can go to the magic button, hit the pre-orders, get your Bloomburrow at 6% off. We'll have a lot of fun there. Go subscribe to Josh's channel over at Hometown TCG and subscribe to Schwarge's, where is he?
Secret channel.
Schwarge's Secret channel over at georgedoesn'thaveachannel.com. And someone's going to buy that domain now. Every time we make up a fake domain, somebody buys it.
And we gotta start mentioning domains I own.
Have a great day, everyone. Be kind to the people around you. May the zoo be with you.
And also with you, buddy.